As I grew older and gained more experience, my travels became more impactful. This happened because I learned from the people I met during my trips. Living as the locals do will lead you to experience and learn with a deeper connection, leading to a benefit of your life when returning home and on future travels. This poses the question, what does it mean to travel as the locals live, and how do we do that? Summer break of 2019, my family and I went on a trip to Peru. Ecstatic to go to South America for the first time, I did a bunch of research. Because of my obsession with food and recipes, I checked out a Peruvian cookbook from the library and decided that I should try every dish in the book when I got to Peru. This cookbook I'm talking about is the one in the picture. Of course, foods in this cookbook included things like guinea pig, alpaca, and ceviche. I hadn't even considered trying foods like these until I knew that I would be going to Peru. I started getting my dad involved in coming up with foods since he is what I call my adventurous eating buddy. By our flight, we had compiled a list of 43 foods, all to eat in 12 days. When we landed, we met our tour guide and the rest of our traveling group from Gate 1. Our tour guide was a father from Cusco, Peru. On the bus in the morning, I asked him what his favorite food was, and as it would turn out, it was not yet on our list. I also asked him what type of fish for ceviche was the best to eat in this city and ordered it for lunch. As the trip progressed, I continued to ask him for food recommendations. Whenever we were at a restaurant as a group, I would eat what he was ordering. To check foods off my list, I asked him what cities I could find specific dishes in and took note. On the second to last day, I still hadn't been able to find one of the foods I was most excited to eat. None of the restaurants we visited served it so far, and the hotel's continental breakfast definitely didn't serve what I was looking for. Not wanting to leave a wild goose chase for the last day, I asked our tour guide yet another question, and he said this dish can actually be found at open air markets. So we went off and took our whole group with us. Walking around, we found a stand that sold food rather than produce. I asked the woman at the stand, ¿Tiene caldo de cabeza? And with a sort of surprised expression, she said, Sí. We ordered food, and when it arrived, the worker asked us if she could take a picture of us with the dish. Of course, we said yes, and she told us we were the first foreign visitors who had ordered this dish. What we saw in front of us was actually a large bowl of soup with a calf head on top. What can I say? It was amazing. The search was most definitely worth it. Here in this slide, you can see just how large the portion of soup was. This made it perfect for sharing with my dad and letting my brother, mom, and travel companions try something new. Continuing to converse with the stand owner in Spanish while eating the best seasoned soup of my life is a memory I will cherish forever. Not only was that a memorable experience for me and a story my dad tells all the time, but also an encounter the owner will not forget. Do we really want to travel in hermetically sealed Pope-mobiles through the rural provinces of France, Mexico, and the Far East, eating only in Hard Rock cafes and McDonald's? I know what I want. I want it all. I want to try everything once. This Anthony Bourdain quote perfectly describes my traveling mentality. Try everything once because why not? If you're given Given the opportunity, you might as well take it. You don't know when this chance might come again. We ended up finishing a list of 50 Peruvian foods. Not only did I eat recommended foods, but I also spoke to the restaurant workers in Spanish and developed my language skills to a whole new level. By speaking Spanish, I could understand and communicate with people who didn't understand English, which has been a barrier for my parents when they traveled alone. I was also able to step into their world, even for a few minutes. After ordering anticuchos de corazón, or cow heart kebabs, in Spanish from a guy in his early 20s, I asked him about the soccer game he was watching on TV. The next day, I talked to my tour guide about the soccer game that Uruguay had won. Knowing about soccer matches and current events brought us closer together during the trip. My Peruvian experience would not have been what it was without planning ahead, asking for advice, the rest of my Gate 1 group, and my Peruvian friend Odon Medina. To live like the locals while actually foreign, you'll need to balance preparedness and spontaneity. Think of it like this: you need to know what to expect, but leave room for the unexpected. I know this must sound like an oxymoron, but trust me, it is more than achievable. To quote the rock star of the food industry, once again, I learned a long time ago that trying to micromanage the perfect vacation is always a disaster that leads to terrible times. Leave room in your plan for life to intervene, and you'll have fun experiencing something new. Just as I did, you can research and create lists on what to do, see, eat, or drink. You can even practice phrases in the local language beforehand and use them there if you would like. However, you should be ready to take other people's advice. It is highly unlikely that you'll find everything in a book. There's always something so local, only the people nearby know about it. But if you ask, someone might let you in on the town secret. Just like how in my hometown, here in the landlocked city of Fairfax, where we don't really have any signature foods, you wouldn't expect to find really good Jamaican food. Now, even you know, if you visit Fairfax, Virginia, to come try Jamaican food at a small, authentic place, Caribbean Corner. You never know until you ask. If you include suggestions from people who actually live in the country in your travels, you will develop to become more adventurous and spontaneous. Additionally, by participating in local activities and trying cultural foods, you will become more open-minded, especially of countries and cultures outside of your own. Once you begin traveling with this mindset, you continue it for the rest of your life and truly make the most out of your trips.